talking about how he's doing his own thing and how people are out there doing their own thing, even with delivery. Like it's people out there that are doing their own delivery business.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
catering too.
And if people realize like yeah it is a tougher task, you don't have the benefit of just opening an app and letting it go, but it's something that can happen, and people are protesting now, but I foresee in the future people are going to start doing their own things and introducing competition. So if these companies don't want that additional competition, perhaps they need to ease up on some of these things that people are saying they need to have, such as transparency and fairness, such as a more fair review system, things like that.
Yeah, true,
Hey,
true.
let me ask you a question, then I'm gonna open up like three people, Kevin, Gig Bell Tolls, and Roy. Um, do you think just logically, if we continue, well, the protests are going to continue. That's not just going to stop, right? You can't stop now that the momentum's kind of going. You can't stop. Now we have, these guys are going to have to go full tilt, right? And I think Torsten's probably ready for that. Jeff's going to continue to talk about it, and many other people talk about it. This is going to continue. There's going to be more media. Something's going to happen. I hope nobody gets hurt at one of these things, because that'll really get me.
That's what I've been saying.
But,
yeah.
But you're going to start putting more people together. The likelihood,
somebody's going to embed themselves in a protest to try to turn it to something it's not.
Do something, and that's going to, then we're going to get, it's going to be bad, right?
Yeah.
But let's just say that doesn't happen. Knock on wood. Don't you think the protests are going to lead to legislation, and it's going to lead to more of a W-2 employee model overall, and it's going to be forced?
Unless you ask for it, and I don't think we're asking for that. We're just asking for the apps. The apps need to have more transparency with these riders. These are business transactions with a lot of hidden information and data in there right now.
Right.
I mean,
but that's the problem. But see, let me speak on that. That's the problem. That's the problem. You're not asking for it. The legislators are the ones that are going to make it happen. And we all know once government gets involved in something, they go balls to the wall. They're not going to stop at what you want. They're going to stop at what they want. And so what you're asking for, yes, maybe, but chances are they're going to go way above and beyond. And because you're going to have those candy ass fucking drivers out here that are going to come in and say, okay, now I want everything. And you're going to have more of the candy ass drivers asking for everything versus the people like you that want specifics. And
I agree with that, Roy. But and that's the thing. I haven't heard any politicians talking about it right now. But Roy's right. Once you open up the door, people are going to want to take advantage of the work of everybody else laid. You're going to have some lazy ass, candy ass people wanting everything.
The door, we have to open the door to get at the table. And if we're going to get at the table, you either need a union representative or a politician. Right? So, and once we go down this path of the continued protest, the strike, voices heard, voices heard is a great thing. But I'm telling you, in order for us to get transparent, like New York City, like Seattle, where you see the upfront tip, you see, in order to get that, legislation has, right? So, and that's my whole point is we might have these small wins, right? And get some things, but at the end of the day, the end game is going to be overall negative, in my opinion. And that's what
I think the apps can help people out a lot by lowering that deductible from $2,500 down to $100 or $200 if you wreck your car. Nobody's got $2,500 laying around if they wreck on the app. It's just not happening. It's not happening.
Then they shouldn't be doing the app. Plain and simple. If you can't afford to
play, you know how many people don't have $2,500 right now?
But if you can't afford to play the game, don't play the game. That's
a lot of people that's going to have to stop tomorrow then, or right now.
Guess what? Those people that stop tomorrow means more money in your pocket because you got what it takes to do the job properly. This is the problem we have. Too many people want to defend these candy asses that want to come out here and do this, but they don't have what it takes to do it in the first place.
Amen.
That's the problem. Why are we bound down these candy ass people? Oh, just so you know, Jeff, nice to meet you. All the independent employees in the chat, howdy. I did Lyft for 3 years in Vegas, 12,500 rides. So I can speak on that. But yeah, that's the problem. We're trying to stick up for all these candy asses that don't want to go and take the steps. Anybody can save up $2,500. If you can't save up $2,500, then you need to redo your finances. You are a corporate, accountant, so you need to learn to do your accounting properly, So if you do have that incident, it's just like how many candy asses don't even have the money to fix their brakes?
I talk about that all the time. Bumpers and shit hanging off.
So these are the people we're fighting for. We got the good people, Pedro, all these other gentlemen, I'm sure, out here busting our ass, doing what it takes to get it done right. And then we're sticking up for these candy asses that just want to sit back and have shit given to them. And that's the problem. And that's the biggest problem.
Oh, I believe you, Roy, man. Like I said, I talk about the same thing. You talk about driving around, seeing cars with bumpers and shit duct taped and hanging on and stuff like this and that. They don't want to. Tonight, I was supposed to do wheel bearings on my car. I did brakes for another Uber driver the other day. I did all 4 of his rotors on his car. We put money up because we got to have money to do this job. If you can't afford to do this business, it's going to be a hard business to make a living in.
That's what I'm saying. We're all pigeons at one point. Then we figure out where the good food is. We lift some weights. We become big birds. Why are we looking at the pigeons that can't figure it out for themselves and we're giving them?
That's why. But that's why most of us run our channels the way we run it. We run like workshops on our channel. Basically, Pedro, you run workshops. Anybody who does got a YouTube channel who talks about how to do this, you guys are literally running workshops without even realizing what you're doing. You're helping people.
And you know why a lot of these people, Pedro, don't want to go out and become the big bird? Because they got that W-2 mentality. That's why they ask for all this shit in the first place. So they've never been in a position to become a big bird because they don't have the mentality of what it takes to be a big bird. They're just more happy sitting in the background, hoping like the regular employee at, let's say, a restaurant, the dishwasher guy, hoping that somebody's going to speak up for him and say, hey, I think the dishwasher needs a raise. That's the kind of mentality that probably 80, 75% of these drivers
You're not
have.
wrong. You're not wrong.
They just want to sit back and be handed everything. And everybody up here has been successful doing what they're doing because they did what it took. They learned, they did what it took to do it the right way versus crybaby. Let me go out and stand out inside it. And I've seen it. I've seen the bullshit. I've seen people at the airport lot here in Vegas cooking hot dogs on a barbecue grill, just sitting there. I've seen this shit. So these are the kind of people we're sticking up for. They're having barbecues in the bum lot at fucking Vegas airport.
Roy is stupid. He said they barbecue hot dogs and shit at the airport. That's fucked up. You lying. You lie. I ain't never seen no shit like that.
Yeah, bro. I've seen it.
But man, he right though, man. And it's like a lot of us, we've done the work to say this is how you have to do it. You guys got to listen, and we teach people how to stand up for themselves, how to fight for these dollars. Because if you don't fight for these dollars, like the app screwed a lot of us. They took Lux off the platform. A lot of us was Lux drivers. We don't do that no more. So we had to find a new way to keep making money. And these apps will suck you in. Hey, go out and buy this nice ass car. As soon as you get it, guess what? No Lux platform. People get sucked into that all the time. So now we got to fight to get money to pay off these expensive cars. And we're not getting the rates for these expensive cars no more. So what do? We fight. We go in, we fight for that money.
There's a good point to raise. So, and I don't think we've really touched base on it. We're talking about good drivers out there right now. People doing good driving, the right thing. But there are thousands, tens of thousands of terrible drivers out there. And this legislation is to pull them up. There's drivers sitting around there filling up their boot with car for their food in a car for an hour. Still going cold. Customers getting pissed off. The companies are paying out refunds to these customers. Companies are losing money from these guys. There's drivers that screw up drop-offs. There are drivers who struggle to get the basics of the job done right. And this is where legislation would pull these drivers up to a basic or fair pay compared to what a good driver would be doing. Should we be having these changes and these protests to pull up these bad drivers, or should there be more stuff from companies or more checks and balances to remove the bad drivers who are costing the companies money, costing us money? There's only so much money in the driver pool and the budgets for these companies. And if they're wasting all this excess money on terrible drivers out there, why do we deserve a pay raise when we still have so many bad drivers out there doing?
And I'll speak on that as well. This is the problem, you guys. This is what ends up excuse me. I'm trying not to curse. I got the party.
Go, Roy. Fuck that. Go, Roy.
You're at the wrong party, buddy.
I'm Italian, Roy.
Okay. No cursing.
cursing stage.
Okay, fuck it then. I'm gonna curse. You know,
Go for it. Do Roy.
Just don't be stealing my lingo. Just don't be stealing my lingo. We're cool.
Don't
Well,
worry, I'll build
fucking problem. And this is what Chris is talking about. That's what fucks us up because the people that have actually took the time, busted their ass, learned, and making the big money that we're making, we're trying to push these ding dongs up. And at the end of the day, pushing these ding dongs up are gonna fuck our money up because now we're being legislated or we're being pushed into something we didn't want because we bust our ass and we do it the right way, but because we got these ding dongs here that just want to sit back and be given everything, it ends up screwing us in the long run. And then we have to readapt our shit. And then when we readapt it, come back on, say, hey, I'm boom, boom, boom. Then you're going to have the candy asses in the background or whatever crying again. Well, why is he doing it? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? So it's a never ending. That's why I said it's a bunch of fucking crybabies. Drivers are their own worst enemy. No matter what you give them, no matter what you give them, they're never going to be satisfied. It's always more. Like I said, them and their $10 McDonald's mentalities, that's all they come in the game with. These people have never made, even if they came from a $10 an hour job and they're making $30, be grateful you're making $30 because it's better than that 10 you were fucking making. And if you couldn't make $30 or $40 when you were making your 10, what the fuck makes you think you're worth $40 or $30 now?
That's it. Knowing your worth. Driving smart.
You're speaking on a lot of assumptions. Like one thing that a lot of people tend to forget is that like all these markets are different. Okay, so you don't know everybody's situation. You can't assume that everybody, you know, the way that you're describing these people fits every single person. And I'm not saying that what you're saying is wrong, but at the same time, what I am saying is that you don't know everybody's situation. You don't know what everybody's going through. I personally don't know why you guys are so concerned about these quote unquote candy asses / pigeons / all of this stuff so much. But
well, that's what they are.
You know why we're worried about them?
Yeah, excuses.
You know why we're worried about them?
I'm just saying.
Let the guy talk. Let the guy talk for a minute.
Brokers, that's all they know how to do is bring up excuses. Well, I'm not making this money. They want somebody to hold their hand and guide them every step of the way instead of stepping up and taking personal responsibility. And I'll tell you one thing right now. A lot of people in this country that are in a financial pickle, they're in a financial pickle because of the decisions they've made. They blow their money in stupid shit. They go buy this. They go to a strip club. And you know what? I'm tired of it, man. So you drivers, a lot of drivers, I'll be happy they would just leave. And you know what? I don't feel sorry for you when you take a $9 order going 25 miles. You don't have to take it. And you take it, that makes you a dumbass.
Okay,
an absolute dumbass.
That shouldn't even be a thing.
And that's why we concern ourselves with these people. Because in the long run, all these people are going to be the ones costing us money in the future. So that's why we worry about it. And as far as I don't know other people's situations, I don't know other people's markets. I don't have to know that. They are the ones that need to know that. They need to understand if they can't figure out their market or their market isn't good for them, move the fuck on instead of coming on chats, going outside with your sign at the airport.
Go somewhere else and adapt.
Move
Amen.
So they can't protest? Is that what y'all saying?
You can protest all you want.
Nobody said that.
Protest all you want. Why don't you protest yourself? Quit being a lazy ass. Quit asking everybody.
And there's a lot of drivers. There's a lot of drivers I saw doing the protests that were on the news, and they were saying, "Well, I work 10 hours a day and I'm only making $100." That shit's crazy because
you're doing it wrong, man.
How many times have you seen me quit after an hour and a half saying ain't no money out here? If you out there for 10 hours and you saying, "Oh, I only made $100 a day," you're doing it wrong. You're fucking.
Okay, but here's the point: there should not even be a $9 order going 25 miles. That makes no sense.
Well, why do you think we have those orders? Because you drivers take the orders.
That's the point. Why is the system even offering that? Nobody. That's not a legitimate. That's not even a legitimate offer.
I
I've done 14 runs. Let me show you something.
Like, why don't y'all realize that's the point?
Kevin,
There
my
should not
dog,
even
man.
be a
Kevin, my fucking
$9
dog.
office
You know what? Hey, you know what? When drivers, yeah, you know what? If your
Oh my
drivers
God.
would get so stuck into the
Kevin, my dog.
garbage,
I love Kevin, man. I love
then you
Kevin.
might stop saying garbage. Why do you think we have Top Dasher? Why do you think we have the Diamond Program? Because
True.
so many drivers are suckers, and these CEOs, they
That's
take
it.
full
That's
advantage
it.
of that. They take full advantage of that.
Exploitation.
They go, hey,
Exploitation. You're right.
That is
we got a bunch of
exploitation,
suckers
right.
that's gonna take the garbage.
Exactly, and that's why what he said was exactly right. You have $9 for 25 miles because some jerk off is going to take it because they have put themselves in a financial situation that they got to take all the garbage just to pay their bills because they aren't financially responsible. They live outside their means. They want to be the baller when they ain't balling dick. So that's why you have these orders is because people are willing to take it because they put themselves in such a poor financial situation. They have no choice at that point. And that's the biggest thing I see in any gig work. These people they'll run themselves into the fucking toilet instead of realizing this ain't for me. Let me move on.
And then they cry.
But they'll run into the toilet, end up homeless, whatever the case may be, just because they don't want to sit there or they got that mentality, I can't follow a boss. Bitch, the customer is your boss, DoorDash is your boss. You got bosses already. So that is the lamest fucking excuse I hear all day long. I don't want to have to deal with the boss. You deal with 3 or 4 bosses every day. The customer, DoorDash, your wife, your kids. So everybody's your boss.
There you go. There you go.
So quit running. These people need to realize, hey, if it's not working for me, move the fuck on. But instead, we got people doing these protests, trying to help these little babies, pat the little babies on the back. Here, let me get that pacifier. That'll make you happy until the next round. Then you run yourself into the ground and you can't do it again. So
if we flip the script around a little bit. So say if we did move across to drivers could add their own bids on, their own rates, their own, like follow a proper contracting model through on it. We would all get beaten by people willing to take it cheaper. There's always going to be someone who does it 1 cent cheaper.
That's a good point.
To get the job. They'll scrap the jobs and we're in the same spot again. So it comes down to do we need legislation then to stop that from happening? Because it'll be a race to the bottom if it's not from the companies racing to bottom with algorithms. It'll be a race to the bottom from drivers willing to do it cheaper.
Yeah, and that's where we got right now. That's where we are, a very saturated market with a lot of people willing to take shit for cheap, and it's pricing out the people who hold their worth up. So you got a whole bunch, just like Roy said, you got a bunch of people at the bottom who don't want to bust their ass to get up to the top, and they're drowning out the market and the economy. And I think that's why we protest, because we're running to the apps going, hey, you guys are exploiting these people at the bottom, running us out of the market because we're a little higher paid, we feel, and it's pushing us to go do cash rides. So we're saying if we start doing business this way, give us that leverage. Let us have our own commercial insurance. Because right now my man Jamil is getting charged twice. He has his own commercial, plus he has all of his stuff that he's doing at the airport and stuff like that. He pays for his own airport shit and everything. So Roy's right for a lot of what he's saying. You're always going to have people at the bottom not wanting to put forth any investment, any time, any fucking effort. It's always going to be like that. There is no change in them people. So we got to figure out how to get them people out.
Yeah, it's the same with DoorDash.
No, we don't have to dig those people out.
And it's the same.
I don't have to dig them out. I tell you what, I'll let you and everybody else go dig them out, but I'm not digging them out.
Because I work at a W-2 that deals with DoorDash, and I've seen DoorDash drivers that come in picking up pizzas. They don't even have a fucking pizza bag, and they can get free.
I see that shit all the time here, dude.
So that's the mentality we deal with. These are the people we're sticking up for. They're trying to stick a pizza in their little fresh DoorDash bag that DoorDash just gave them. Instead of it's ridiculous.
Or not put in a bag at all.
Yeah, it's some crybaby shit, and I hate the crybaby shit. And you guys know me, I'm way against the crybaby bullshit and the fucking.
I don't give a fuck about a pizza bag or a fucking carry bag. Okay, like
pizza bag.
If you want to carry that shit, then cool. But like and maybe that's how y'all got to run in your market. In this market that I work in, most people don't even give a fuck. Most people got way too much shit. They're letting that shit sit at the door, and then they get to it when they can. They're not even checking for a fucking bag. But the point is, if you don't want to dig these people out, if you don't want to look out for people at the bottom, then don't.
You can't. You ain't even looking out for your fucking. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, bro. You ain't even looking out for your fucking self to do your job properly. What do you mean? Don't worry about a pizza bag. How the fuck are you delivering pizza without a pizza bag?
I didn't say
I got like 4 pizza bags.
I don't. I didn't say I don't. I said I don't give a fuck about it.
You ain't even willing to help yourself on the bottom.
I don't give a fuck about a pizza bag. I don't give a fuck about. You don't take your job serious. You don't even take the job serious. I don't give a fuck about a bag. I didn't say I don't, but it means no difference to me if my driver comes at me with a bag or not. Okay,
it's a little thing,
but it's a DoorDash rule though. It's not a customer rule. It's a DoorDash rule, and it's about keeping the pizza like out of the elements and keeping it warm versus it just showing up cold and shit. Like, I mean, that's what it's made for. It's like an insulator. And I understand why they do it, because if I ordered a pizza and I paid fucking $32 for it, I want that shit as close to fresh as I can keep it. That's all.
DoorDash does not care, bruh. A lot of these food orders be sitting on the shelves getting cold. These folks do not care. They will literally pick
Throw a tip on it. Throw a tip on it. Shit.
They will literally pick somebody. Picked up. These companies will literally pick somebody from 5 miles away to go to a restaurant when it's people that's closer, when it's restaurants that's closer to take an order 20 miles away. Like, these folks don't give a fuck about
when you value a delivery driver, when you value a delivery driver like me, when I'm covered in transmission,
because we got a bunch of bird brains. That's why. Because these companies know that they got a bunch of bird brains that will go ahead and be more than happy to go ahead and do it. Well, you know what? I let them do it. I want them to do it. Because you know what? I'll take that $10 order going 2 miles. Thank you very much.
And I tell everybody, if you're using food services, don't look at the delivery of it being what you're paying for. You're paying for you not having to go in the house, clean yourself up, put on different clothes, get in your car, drive down, pick it up, come back. That's what I look at. So when I drop a $15, $20 tip, that's saving me time for having to get out of these oily ass clothes just to go do all this shit myself. So it's like, don't look at the delivery. Just erase that. Look at the value of who you are and how you value your own time. And that's how you apply money on a tip. So you know what? I think it's worth probably about $15, $20 for me not to do all this shit. Throw 15, 20 on it. Call it good. You're going to lose it one day anyways.
Safer.
And Hoodie, look at it this way. You say these people out here don't give a shit about a bag. Why should we give a shit about them? They don't give a shit about their own job. They don't give a shit about the customers that they're potentially helping, like Jeff says, delivering them food and shit. So why the hell should we look out for them? If they're not looking out to make themselves look good as a customer service rep or whatever the case may be, why the hell are we worried about them? Why should we?
Okay, so I don't know how it is in y'all's market. Let me start there. I don't know how many of these types of people y'all come across in y'all's market, but those, in my opinion, that's a relatively small percentage of the people who are actually out here trying to do it the right way and are getting exploited by the process. Those are the people that I personally care about. I also care about the customer who I don't know how it is in y'all's market, but the rates have gone up significantly and the customers are paying more and the people doing the work are getting paid less. So that doesn't make sense to me that customers are paying more and drivers are getting less. Okay, whether it's food, whether it's rideshare, like that makes no sense to me. And that's just backwards, especially when the executive pay of the companies is going up. And then when you think about the companies taking a 30 to 45% cut off of the front end and the back end of the order, I mean, something's just not added.
Yeah, see, and that's the transparency right there. We talk about that with transparency and just letting riders and customers know what all this money is going to, what all these fees are breaking down. You just paid 100. Let us show you what this 100 went to. 52 went to the driver, the other, 48 or 50 went, and they'd be like, damn, I didn't know I was paying that much in just fees. Imagine fees. Like, let's say you go to the grocery store and you buy groceries, but you find out of all the groceries you just bought, really the groceries are $30, but you just paid an extra $70 in fees. You'd be like, dude, but I'm only about $30 worth of groceries though. You'd be like, man, the fees are killing people. When they realize their fees, it stops making sense.
Yeah. But that's none of our fucking business, bro. That's like going to Home Depot and saying, okay, I got to buy $5 for a thing of lumber. You don't know what it involves. The employees have to be paid to load that lumber. They have to pay the lumber company to get that lumber to them. So at the end of the day, the transparency, it's none of our business. It's not our business to ask, okay, I went and bought a thing of strawberries for, let's say, $5. It's not, I don't care if the company paid $100 for the strawberries. Guess what? They got to get their money somehow. They got bills to pay. They got that building that they're paying for. They got the pickers or the people that bring the fruit to them. So there's always going to be a cost. So even if they did show us, okay, you got 50, they got 48, it's none of our fucking business, because we don't know the bottom line of these companies and what their costs are. Nobody in this room right now can tell me what Lyft pays for their servers. They can't tell me what they pay to get these servers to run this app all year long. So how can we ask for transparency when we don't even know what these companies are their expenses?
Well, that's for their accountants to figure out how to run a sustainable business. And we being an independent contractor, their accountants have to run a sustainable business, but on our end, we have to be our own accountants and run our own sustainable business as well.
But you do that. But you do that on your own by cherry picking the orders you do.
Yep.
That's how you do it. You go out there, you learn the market, you cherry pick, do the right way.
I agree, Roy.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it. As long as my pockets are fat, I can give a fuck what Lyft makes. I can
okay,
and that's why we do ride-alongs. We do that.
Like, if you are an individualistic person and you're only concerned about your own pockets, then you're not going to understand the person that says they can see that there's something wrong here. They can see that other people are getting exploited. And you're not going to understand why somebody would stand up for them. And that's cool. If you want to be an individual, hold on. If you want to be an individual person and only be concerned about your own pockets, that's cool. I'm not mad at that, but I'm not that type of person.
Oh, okay. Well, I got an idea. Answer me this. How many of those people that protest paid your light bill last month? How many of those people? Yeah, of course I'm worried about my pockets because I'm the one paying my bills. There ain't nobody standing at the airport holding a sign paying my fucking car payment. They're not paying my fucking house bills. So why? Yeah, of course my first concern is always going to be myself. And then on top of that, why am I going to worry about these people are trying to hurt my pockets?
You don't have to.
Sorry for them hurting my pockets.
You don't have to. No, you don't have to. If you are the type of person that's only concerned about yourself, that's cool. But it's people out there that recognize there's a community. There's people out there that recognize there's strength and unity. Okay, it's just like labor unions, Labor unions get together and have to bargain collectively because it's not about the one worker. People who participate in labor unions, it's not about the one worker. It's about all of us. So if you are the type of person that doesn't rock with that, you can do this your own way. But there are people who want to protest and are saying, we recognize there's a fault here. There's something that's wrong. And we want to stand up. Like I said earlier, all it took for me was just to see a video from, my dude on here to say, hey, this is what we're doing. I said, okay, well, I can, spend a day off and support these folks. Like, I'm not tripping like that. You know what I'm saying?
But you're conflating what you're trying to do is when you bring up these ideas that these other workers that strike, protest for the other, you're looking at that's a W-2 mindset, bro, because these are W-2 jobs that do that. You're independent. I'm going to say the independent employee / independent contractor, whatever you want to call yourself. But you're a contractor. You're an independent contractor. There is no getting together and throwing strikes. When you see companies like these hotels throw a strike, that's because they're W-2. It's a labor union. There is none of that when you're an independent contractor. There is no independent contractors labor union. I don't know of one. Do any of you guys do? Because I sure fuck don't know of one. So you're an independent contractor. That means you're independent.
Well, y'all keep using the word strike. I said protest.
Yes, just a protest. That's what I call it, a protest. There's no way we can strike.
People
even during a protest,
they're two
even during a protest, people are going to work because a lot of people did cash rides during the protest. They didn't just not work. Strikes usually don't work. But during a protest, you do work. Some people doing cash rides. Some people were doing high bonus and high surge rides only. They said, I'm only doing high surge, high bonus today. I'm not doing any cheap rides. So there's different ways to protest how you feel in your market. Because I know how our market is. And I tell people all the time, I got the videos on my channel. I could work 3 days. I used to work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and that was it. And in those 3 days, every week, religiously, $1,500 to $1,800, only working 8 hours a day. All the videos on my channel for all the motherfuckers. No, that's not possible. Videos on my channel. Knock yourself out. But now when I see that the market, I can work a day or two, I'm only making 175, 200. I'm like, wait a minute, something's wrong. Since the protest, though, this is what's funny. Since the protest, I haven't worked more than like maybe 5-6 hours, and I'm still bringing on almost like $80-90 an hour. Because I think they're realizing that if they don't pay us, we're going to start doing cash rides now. That's what they scared of. They're like, oh, these dudes doing cash rides.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing is that go out and protest, because the real hustlers, they're going to be out there making the money, while the little protesters are out there crying because they can't do it for themselves.
Well,
so
then y'all should be happy then. Well, then
go out and protest all you want, because the real hustlers and the people, they're going to go out and make that money. Because
but that's only for one day.
You should be happy then.
I'll tell you what's concerning.
There's protesters out there, and that's why I said posting like, go ahead and protest so I can go out there and make that money. Great. Great. Well, then it's working. You're getting paid more. So what at the end result, you're getting paid more one way or another. So what is the problem?
But maybe if you get out of
time out, guys. Time out. Try to get a word in.
Maybe if you got out of the crybaby mindset and went and learned to do your shit right, you wouldn't be the one out there protesting. You'd be out there making the money like the rest of us.
Why do you care?
Roy, come out.
Why do you care?
Time out.
All right, what you got, Pedro? What you got?
I want to give everybody a minute or so, some final words. But before I do that, I think I want to answer a question from Hoodie. And Hoodie, I appreciate you coming up here, man. I appreciate everybody for coming up here with your different opinions, perspectives. I think it makes for a great conversation, right? We don't always have to agree with each other. You know, me and Jeff don't have to agree, but we can respect each other. All 8 of us can respect each other for our perspectives, because we are in different marketplaces. We've been working at apps this amount of time, that amount of time. Some of us might care about the pigeon or whatever word we want to use, and other ones are like, hey, I got to pay my light bill. It's all good, right? But to answer the question about why do you care about somebody protesting, why does it matter? Why does it matter? For me, my opinion, this is my opinion. My opinion is we're thinking about the moment too much, and we're not thinking about the future. I was
just about to say that.
I've always been very steadfast. Bet on you. That's the genesis of my channel, is bet on you, right? I want us to be thinking about the future. And for me, the more protests we have, I feel like what we're doing is we're just leveling it, like it's taking money out of my pocket. Right? So long term, I think it could possibly be a negative, because we're pandering to individuals that can't figure it out or shouldn't be in the space. Gig work ain't for everyone, right? I know Jeff can probably agree with it. This is not for everyone.
It ain't. I